Super excited to bring you this tutorial. I've been playing around with NotebookLM for a while now. It has a great relationship with Canva. We're going to create really simple concepts for our students through the use of podcasts. So I've just jumped into Canva. I'm speeding up this bit here. I've found a great template here on teaching tessellations for year fours, which I used to do. But we might change it from natural world to kind of famous architecture. So we're going to use what we call NotebookLM to create a podcast that simplifies this concept. So this is just me looking for some tessellations in architecture. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go into Canva and I'm going to go to New Doc and I'm going to go up to Magic Write. And I'm basically going to say, hey, I want 5 famous buildings from around the world that uses tessellations in their design, both for aesthetic reasons possibly and structural reasons as well. And so what I want to do is create this kind of background podcast music so that when my students are doing work, they're immersed in some of these really interesting facts and figures from around the world. So I'm using Magic Write to do that. I'll fix up my spelling before I generate it. And then what I'm going to basically do is generate that. And so this is powered by ChatGPT in the background with Canva Magic Write. And so it's given me these 5 amazing architectural buildings that have tessellations and the reasons why and the inspiration behind. Super, super fun. And what this at year 4 level is probably not exactly what I'd have my students actually reading. So what I'm going to do is insert that. And then I'm going to go up to File and I'm just going to export that as a PDF. And what we're then going to do is jump into NotebookLM and create this fun audio podcast. So I'll go to PDF. Yep, that looks good. We'll create that PDF, and as it's doing it, we might jump over in a new tab here into NotebookLM, which is free for Google. I'm going to create a new notebook, and all you need to do is upload that source. Now, it can be a Wikipedia page, it could be a website, it could be anything at all. And what these 2 podcasters, AI podcasters, will do, will just have this great discussion about what's in that PDF. So what we've got here is, there it is there. So I'll upload that. And as it's uploading that, it'll give me some details and questions and different things. But all I really want to do is generate the podcast. So on the right-hand side here, you can go to Generate Podcast. And what that'll do is it'll generate this fun kind of background radio station / vibe aspect. So while that's downloading, we'll see how long that takes to download in real time. I'm just going to type in architecture and tessellations and try and find an image. What I might do is actually go back to my Magic Write and actually grab one of those architectural buildings. I could go into AI and have that generate maybe some tessellations in building, but knowing what it's going to produce there, I'm probably better to do a search for something that actually came up in my notebook. So as it's generating that, still going there, if I go back to my Magic Write, I can certainly see some of those things that we're actually going through. And you can see here my AI generated images is not really doing it. It's kind of more artwork. It's probably not so much of the architectural highlights that I want to actually do. So once again, I could click on a photo, for example, and see if that different style generates that image that I want. It's not really going to do it. Now that's still generating that audio. It only takes a couple of minutes. But if I go back to my Magic Write, and if I actually go down a little bit, I'll just make that a little bit smaller. You can see that I've got my architectural buildings here. I might grab this one from Spain, for example, and we might do a Canva search for that and just see if that provides a better image for my NotebookLM podcast here. So if I actually grab that and just copy paste that into my elements here in my Magic Media, I might have a better chance of that actually coming through. So what we're actually doing here from a teacher's perspective is we're having kind of immersing our students while they're doing some work, maybe in the rest of this Canva deck, into these beautiful podcasts. Now you can't hear that coming through, so what I might do here is stop this and actually jump to the actual podcast. So why don't we do that?
Ready to geek out about architecture?
Always.
Awesome. Because today we're talking about something that's both gorgeous and honestly kind of genius. Tessellations in architecture.
I mean, it's way more than just pretty tile work.
Exactly. We're going beyond just looks today. We've got excerpts here talking about how architects actually use these patterns to like make buildings stronger, control the light, even manage the temperature.
It's fascinating stuff.
It really is. And we're taking a global tour today, too. Our source material takes us to 5 famous buildings from Spain to Singapore to see how architects have been playing with tessellations for centuries.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, let's start in Granada, Spain at the Alhambra. This place, oh man, the pictures are unbelievable. Walls, ceilings, even the floors are completely covered in these crazy detailed geometric patterns, like seriously intricate.
Yeah, and there's a reason for all that detail. A lot of people don't realize that Islamic art has this whole thing about depicting living beings. It's generally discouraged.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, so to get around that and still express themselves, artists and architects started playing with geometry. That's where you get these amazing tessellations. They became this way to explore the infinite, to reflect the universe, even the divine, all without actually showing any living things.
That's incredible. It's like
Now, that was just part of the podcast, but it went through all the different buildings. It discussed the inspiration, the different architecture that was there. It went through a range of different things that allowed the students just to listen in the background to some really fun facts in a quite an engaging conversational style through a podcast. Some of these complex problems that students can go home and tell their parents about some of the things that they've learned as they were doing some of that work within the Canva template as well. So this is Paul Hamilton here from Using Technology Better.